Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post a quick video here, back to do a What's Been Spinning video. This is the video where I show all the albums that I've been spinning since the last What's Been Spinning video. And I only show the albums here that I actually sat down and listened to from front to back. So not stuff where I just listened to a song here or there, kind of skipped around, which I like to do. But this is the stuff that I sat down and took in from start to finish. So let's kind of start with one cassette and a few CDs. We'll start out with Fast Away here, Waiting for the Roar. This was a cool VCLT CD for that Mike sent me a little while ago, and finally got around to listening to it. And yeah, pretty cool CD. I mean, it's Fast Away, and you guys kind of know the history of them. I mean, I would say like side one was kind of like, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this one or not, because I only keep stuff in my collection that I actually like and know I'm going to go back and listen to again at some point. Nothing just for collection's sake. But then when I went to side two, definitely took it up a notch, and I was like, okay, there's some things here that had me rocking a bit. So yeah, it totally redeemed itself on side two, which was nice. So that was a fun listen, because I'd never heard that album before. Stereolab, Sound of Dusk, another good one here. Again, I'm assuming you guys probably know Stereolab pretty well. Just definitely a very unique band for sure. Stevie Wonder, Talking Book, another just fantastic legendary album. Nice little Japanese CD there. I mean, just so much great stuff on here, including one of my favorite songs by Stevie Wonder, which is I Believe When I Fall in Love It'll Be Forever. I mean, just an absolute fantastic track. And of course, Superstition is on this as well. So that was a good spin and revisit. Then I dove into a little bit of jazz, a little Lou Donaldson, along with Grant Green and some of the other geniuses on here. Yeah, I mean, Lou is definitely one of my favorite jazz artists. I love just kind of that. He almost does like what feels to me like a psychedelic-y type piano type of thing. Yeah, that's just the feel that's present in a lot of his songs and everything. So yeah, really really cool album. That was a great spin. And one of my favorite albums from the 80s right here, which is The Church. Really, really, really love this. Um, you know, Good tracks off of here. So, stuff like Fly, which is kind of just a great 2-minute intro track. But the song, It's No Reason. I mean, that is one of my absolute favorite The Church songs. And it's just something about the dreaminess and his vocal delivery in that song. It's just so 80s, and I love it. So yeah, really really good spin there. So that's what I had as far as CDs go, and then going to vinyl. Got a little Tusk right here, Fleetwood Mac, and this is of course their release from 1979. I was watching, on Hulu, High Fidelity, the series. Of course, we know the movie with John Cusack, but the series. And I've watched that series like 3 or 4 times all the way through, just because it's such it's fun, it's music, and blah blah blah. And there's always that one scene where she's in that bar and she talks about how Fleetwood Mac Tusk is her preference in terms of Fleetwood Mac albums. So it just made me think I haven't spun Tusk in a while. Cool album, of course. I mean, I've always kind of felt like there's a few songs on here I feel like they're a bit of the kind of filler a little bit. So I've always thought that could have been a much more solid just single LP, but never complain about getting more great music from legendary bands like Fleetwood Mac. Next here, Al Jarreau, L is for Lovers. I've loved this album for so long. Came out back in 1986, and just Al Jarreau, just kind of with his mixture of kind of easy listening, jazzy, some R&B flavor kind of thrown in there, but he was just so unique. And this album, he just kills it in my opinion. L is for Lovers, Says. What else is on here? Oh, Tell Me What I Gotta Do. Just so many great tracks on this thing. And this is another one that just really creates an environment for me, because every time I listen to this, I always imagine myself like on just an awesome beach on a perfect night, sunset, listening. This is a concert being performed, so you have like the breeze coming off the ocean, and we're all wearing linen shirts and linen pants, and watching this concert being recorded on a cheap VHS tape when you go back and watch it. And it just like creates that environment, and I freaking love it. Oh my goodness, such a good album. Um, Next year, Little Blues, George Jackson, Sweet Down Home Delta Blues. Um, yeah, and again, very very solid blues album. I mean, nothing that's gonna like completely blow your socks off, but it's just very good, straightforward blues. Recorded very well, so that's kind of nice too. But yeah, cool album to check out. He does a cool cover of Robert Johnson's "Sweet Home Chicago" and a few other things. So another good one. And one that gets skipped over, I think, a little bit in their discography, Redeemer of Souls by Judas Priest. This is their 2014 release. And yeah, just a really, really solid album. I always tend to forget how amazing the riffs are from start to finish on this album. Just awesome, awesome riffs. So, yeah, if you just maybe kind of forgotten about this one and lost it in the shuffle, Redeemer of Souls, Judas Priest, fantastic, fantastic album from 2014. Fontella Bass here, her album Free. This came out in 1972. Just kind of a nice light R&B, kind of a Wright or Aretha Franklin type of thing. A lot of horns and stuff within the band and the performing and all of that. She also does like one or two gospel songs on here, so just kind of that kind of flavor. But yeah, just another really cool one there from 1972. Life Moves Pretty Fast, the John Hughes mixtapes. I'll just do this if you want to pause it and take a look at the track listing, if it kind of shows up there at all. Maybe there. But yeah, just kind of a compilation, 2 LP compilation with songs from all the John Hughes movies. So everything you would kind of expect on here from, Weird Science, Pretty in Pink, and on and on and on. So just a nice fun comp there. And I got the urge to listen to some Ramones the other day and just kind of randomly pick Too Tough to Die because I hadn't spun it in a little while. This is their release from 1984. Favorite song off of this is definitely Howling at the Moon. But, just typical Ramones, the beautiful OG pressing there. So. And another fun spin. 1980, Accept. With a very kind of young Kudo there. But yeah, really cool album. And this is one of those transition albums. And what I refer to as a transition albums are those albums when you can kind of clearly see, like, when there's a new movement in music coming along, but maybe there's an album that shows you some hints of it, but maybe it actually isn't there yet. Or like this one, it kind of goes in different places where when you look into the future, like using hindsight, you can kind of see, oh, this song kind of gives the feel of what this track of hard rock was going to be, and this song kind of shows you the track of what this was going to be, and of course you don't know it at the time, but it's just like 1980. That's right in the transition where all these new hard rock and metal and all that stuff was about to kind of sprout. So this is one of those albums that kind of gives that transition feel where you can just see some different things are coming kind of thing. But yeah, really fun listen there. The Motels, Little Robbers. Love the Motels. Awesome, awesome band. This is from 1983. And of course here you get the hit Suddenly Last Summer, which is a song that just creeps me out for some reason. I don't know what it is about the melody and chord changes in that song, but it gives me the creeps. But that's good music that makes you feel, right? The next one here is one that I almost purged, which was the newest album from Lenny Kravitz, Blue Electric Light. This came out in 2024 actually, and I bought it when it came out and listened to it and just kind of thought, I don't think I like that enough to keep it. So if I'm not going to go back to it and listen to it again and have a desire to listen to it again, it gets purged. But I thought, okay, let me just put it to the side and give it one more listen before I do. And I just got back around to listening to it last week. And sure enough, I was like, that does not sound like the same album that I remember listening to the first time. And Billy, over at Riverbend Records, we were chatting about that the other day, and we were like, yeah, I think what sometimes happens if we're not paying attention is we know our artists so well, we have an expectation of what we expect to hear on the new album, and when we put it on and it doesn't match that expectation, we kind of, have a feeling for it, right? But then once you kind of go away and, for lack of better terms, cleanse your palate and come back to it with fresh, open ears and no expectations, you actually realize, oh, what they were going for, that's actually really freaking good. And you kind of hear whatever the magic is they thought they had captured. And I think that's kind of what happened with this. Because anytime I hear Lenny Kravitz or new Lenny Kravitz, I'm expecting, like, even though it hasn't happened in a while, like that big 60s kind of classic rock guitar riffing type of stuff. And this album is like everything but it's solid album. And these next three I'll show together because this came out of the box set for Hardwired by Metallica. Just a full album, but the box set has 3 LPs: a black vinyl, like a reddish vinyl, then like a goldish vinyl. But yeah, fantastic album. I definitely think one that doesn't quite get the credit that it deserves, because from front to back, it is a very, very solid Metallica album, without question. So really enjoy listening to that, and the song Atlas Rise has probably become one of my top 10 favorite Metallica songs, as sinful as that might be to say to some people. But moving right along, Billy Idol, Dream Into It, the newest Billy Idol album. This came out this year. Always great to get new music from the legends that are still with us. So anytime Billy or anybody else wants to give us a new album, definitely love it. Is this all of a sudden going to be my favorite Billy Idol album? No, not necessarily. But, he still has his vocals. You still hear Billy delivering. I think the songwriting could have been a little bit better. But, yeah, always great to get new stuff by Billy. So give us many more, my friend. Love him to death. I think it's so cool that the first cassette I ever bought out of the store was Billy Idol's Rebel Yell back in 1984 when I was in 5th grade. And it's like all these years later, I'm still getting new music from Billy Idol, which is just fantastic. So give us more, Billy. Badfinger, No Dice. Another classic album right there from 1970. Another good listen. And the legend himself, Stevie Wonder, fulfilling this first finale there from 1974. Another one of those albums just kind of showed Stevie kind of finding his way. And not that he was lost, but like just experimenting in all the different sounds and writing, and is this funk? Is this jazz? Is this R&B? Forget it, we'll just put all of it in there kind of thing. And just his creativity is just absolutely amazing. So another great listen there. Herb Alpert, Rise. Good album here. Of course, this is the album that Biggie Smalls sampled the beat from Hypnotize, like note for note on there. So I think that's kind of maybe where it gets a little bit of its claim for fame. The Pains of Being Pure at Heart. This is their album Days of Abandon. 2014 release. And maybe not a big, huge name band, but just kind of a cool... I have this in my synth pop section, like 2000s synth pop. So, it kind of gives off that feel. But, yeah, just another cool album that I picked up. It was, like, marked down to, like, $9 or something like a brand new copy a few years ago. And I was like, hey, let me give it a try. The cover looks neat and really enjoyed it. So, gave that one a spin. How about a little Brett Dennen, Hope for the Hopeless? Another kind of cool singer-songwriter. One of those weird type of voices that's very exclusive to him, so you kind of either like him or you hate him kind of thing. But I think he has some great stuff. And if you're not familiar with him, the 2 songs I recommend checking out is Ain't Gonna Lose You. It's probably my favorite song by him. But San Francisco, When She's Gone, also a couple of really cool songs. Just another one of those little, weird redhead-looking dudes that just kind of found his niche. And I went back into my box sets again, and the Tina Turner box set. I pulled this one out and listened to it. This is the 5th LP in it. songs on here like Missing You or what else? Oh, Open Arms. You know, just yeah, Tina. So nothing much to say there. Depeche Mode, Songs of Faith and Devotion. Don't have to say anything about these legends. You guys know everything about DM there. 1993 release. And we also gave Peace Sells But Who's Buying, a little Megadeth a spin. Definitely one of Dave's, I guess from a hit perspective, one of Dave's biggest albums there. With of course the title track, and yeah, I mean, good stuff. And one of the dudes that just killed it in the 80s, Lionel Richie, Dancing on the Ceiling. Again, just another one I just kind of skipped by so many times and haven't gone back to, from 1986, and gave this a spin, and it just go back to that, man, the hits. Dancing on the Ceiling, Say La, Ballerina Girl, Say You, Say Me. I mean, Lionel killed it in the 80s. You can only imagine, maybe, just even though as big as he was, you have to remember, like, between like his album right before this and this album, both of those were kind of battling Thriller on the charts the whole time. So I mean, Michael even kind of overshadowed him just a tad bit, but man, he had just some bangers coming out of the 80s. Little Jackson 5, Destiny. I don't go and spin the Jacksons too much. I got the urge to spin this one the other day. And just a really fun listen. Blame It on the Boogie and Shake Your Body Down to the Ground. Just kind of that nice mixture of R&B and kind of maybe some disco elements lightly in there. But yeah, another fantastic one from the Jacksons. Men at Work. This is their release from 1985. Two Hearts. And you guys know the Men at Work. Favorite song off of this is probably Everything I Need. That's my favorite song off of this album. So just some more great 80s stuff there. And then how about a little Nevermind the Bollocks by the Sex Pistols. Again, classic one that you guys know. Don't have to say anything about that one. And probably the same thing about this one. Ozzy, Bark at the Moon. Just awesome guitar riffs. I mean, this, Ozzy kind of catching his steam after leaving Black Sabbath, and fantastic one there. If you're a singer-songwriter fan, especially on the countryside, Riley Green is one that you have to check out. Just fantastic storytelling, and I mean, awesome album. Ain't My Last Rodeo is the name of this one. Highly recommend this album. So much good stuff there. And the same thing here with Luke Combs. Kind of got a little bit of a country mood there for a while. Fathers and Sons. Just a great album. And, it, just like the title says, Fathers and Sons. So it just does this amazing storytelling, like talking about the father-son or father and son's relationship. And some of the songs are from the son's perspective, and then some of the songs are from the father's perspective. And it's just like hitting real life in such an amazing way. So again, the storytelling and everything off of here is just a fantastic album. So again, highly recommend that. Portishead, Dummy, just another one, another great one here. Such a mood album with this one here. This is just like one of those like cool, chill house party kind of albums. But yeah, another great one there. And we go from one blue cover to another, which would be the one and only Joni Mitchell Blue. Again, another album that you guys know all too well. Have been consistently trying to upgrade my copies of this over the years. I mean, I do have the one step as well, but just always wanted to find like a really nice near mint copy of this. And so far, this has been kind of as close as I've gotten, which is definitely a solid one, but you can see a little bit of wear kind of right there. And it's just like, you never find OGs of these just like in perfect condition, but I think it's like the third or fourth copy I've had over the years by upgrading them when I find better ones. Ted Nugent, I mean, just best of. Just listen to Uncle Ted do his thing. Stranglehold, Cat Scratch Fever, all that great stuff. And then the last, two here. one of the newer analog productions, Donny Hathaway, Everything is Everything. Nice 2 LP set, sounds absolutely fantastic. And of course, off of this album, you have the big song, The Ghetto, which is kind of one of his big hits. Also sampled by Too Short for his song, The Ghetto, which is kind of awesome. And last but not least, we had a little Traffic. This is Best of Traffic. Again, just hadn't spun anything there in a while. Songs like Feeling Alright and Paper Sun. I mean, just made a very cool Traffic album there. So it's kind of a nice revisit. So there you go. Those are some of the things that I've been spinning from start to finish since the last What's Been Spinning video. As always, let me know what you guys think, and we will talk to you soon. Excuse me. Take care, VC.